Maybe it'll make it glow like a Renaissance painting. Hello, welcome back once again. I am Chris Noosh, and I think this is back to kind of normal for me. Down in the studio again, it's a Tuesday, and I am looking forward to working for the next couple days on a tiny print. The tiny print that I'm going to be making this week is based on a sketch I did a week or so ago on the iPad right here. And it is, go the right way, this squished little Bigfoot guy. And this one is different than all the tiny prints I've done in the past. I've done 3 so far. I've done a whale shark, a saber-toothed cat, and I've done what's the last one? Oh, Franken Panda. So this one's different in the way that all those included 3 colors. This one, I couldn't water it down to just 3 colors. So this one's got 4 colors. It's got the black of the Bigfoot. It's got the green in the background. It's got the peach of the skin tone, and then the black, the key block, and then obviously the white. So technically 5 colors. That is the tiny carving that I want to work on this week. I already have a tiny piece of wood cut out. It is, I believe it's 4 3/4 this way and 3 inches this way. So it's not like minuscule, but it is pretty small. So this is the piece of wood that's going to get drawn out onto. See, da-da-da-da. And the second thing I want to do, and this probably isn't going to be something I document fully because it's a process that I'm still trying to figure out, is the past couple weeks I've been working on a series of works that include animals mismatched with mythical creatures. And this image is going to start getting teased here a little bit soon, so I feel safe sharing it here with you guys. And it is an Owlclops carving. So I want to take this image that I created for a show that I've got coming up early January. I want to turn this into a hat design. I've already kind of started that process. To become a hat design, it can have no more than 6 colors, and it's got to be really simple because I'm shrinking it down to about this big, and I'm making it out of thread, and thread has limitations. I can't do everything. So I've kind of sketched it out into what I think can work well over the next week or so in the evenings when I can't be working on my tiny carving. I'm going to be translating this into a thread pattern, and I will share that here and there with you. Not the whole process. It's not going to be like how to make a hat. It's going to be like, here's where I am and struggling with make a hat. Let me go ahead and get started working on the tiny Bigfoot carving. First thing I got to do is draw this, translate that image that I showed you on the iPad, and get that on this small little block of wood. So I have the a printout of the piece in the size that I need to draw it on, taped onto the block with some transfer paper in between that so that when I push down with some pens, it transfers to the block. So what I need to do now is I need to trace out the design. And to show you what it looks like underneath, it's not a very good image probably. It's probably really faint, but let's check it out. See, real faint. And now I can use that to easily and simply redraw that image onto that block. And now that I have it all drawn out onto the board, it's time to carve. First things first, I need to carve out what I want to be the color of the paper, which is going to be white. And that is like 4 spots. I've got the eyes, and I've got a couple fingernails and toenails down here to carve away. Probably gonna take me less than 3 minutes to do all that. Pretty easy, so let's get carving on those. See, Pretty easy, just a couple strokes to get those whites out. I decided I wasn't going to do these tiny little baby white areas. I didn't think they were going to maintain during the printing process, and I think it's just easier for me and for everything, not just easier. I think it'll look better too if I don't try and get that minute in my details. Those decisions have to come when I finally see it drawn out onto the block. But I'm glad I had it drawn here, but I don't think it's going to work here. So, all right, now I got to get my paper ready, and I can start printing this little Bigfoot. I like how he's squished into the frame. Like his little head has to kind of duck down just to get in. So now I have down on my desk my registration jig for my tiny prints. I'm using Turns Burton's pins and tabs. The pins are made out of metal and they perfectly fit in the hole, the tabs. And once again, the idea is that this block never moves, these pins never move, and then the paper never moves. So what I need to do is I need to add these tabs to the sheets of paper that I'm using to print on, which are right there. So this is locked in 8 different spots, 1, 2, and then 3 on each side makes 8. This can't move, which is great. And then I put a sheet of paper down. I'm going to take the block off just so the paper can lay more flat. I need to check to make sure which side of the paper is correct. One of them's got more like a woven looking side, and the other one is just randomly textured. I don't think I can show that on the thing on the camera. But this is the more woven side. It's also got a little bit of a watermark on this one right here. And then on the other side, you can't see the watermark, and it's more of a randomized texture. So that is the printing side, the random texture side, and then the woven texture side is the back of the paper. And it's also really easy to tell with this one because the watermark is on the back. And now I put the little tabs on top, and then I line up the piece of paper with the corners I have drawn, pull a piece of tape off, and tape the tabs down very carefully. Oops, I've moved my paper. Put the paper back where it belongs so it won't print crooked. And now just lay that down. And then just push that paper down real good. And now when I flop the paper down, it'll hit the block that goes under there in the same place each and every time. Pretty simple. And this is what it looks like now. Perfect. Next, I get to print the first color, which is going to be green. I have this lovely green mixed out onto my ink slab. And it's probably going to dry a little bit darker than it looks. It's a little bit lighter than it looks on my sketch. Boop, right on the screen. See, it's a little bit lighter there. But I learned in the past that if I print dark first, it's hard to come back from that. So I'm lightening up the light green in the background. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I kind of just threw green back there. I wasn't married to that color. But we're going to run with that light green color and start printing these Bigfoots. I got about 50 sheets of paper cut out for these guys. And let's go to town. Let's start printing. All right, so I've got the word top written right there. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to slip the block in with the eyeballs, which is towards the top right there. I'm going to use this little awl to get the block into place. It's hard when the whole surface of the block has ink on it, but we got that down. And now to plop a sheet of paper. All right, let's see what that looks like. A little too tight. All right, so now I'm going to take a little peek, see what we got. Looks pretty solid. See, I told you it's going to go on there darker than it looks, but it looks pretty good. I think it's a good color. I don't think I'm going to have too much trouble with it because it's not really that dark. And yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And let's get, all right, I got about 49 more of these to go. I don't think I mentioned it, but I was printing these after midnight last night, but they are all finished and I am rested. And now it is time to carve the block away a little bit more. What do I carve next? I'll like Dora the Explorer this. Hey, what color or what parts of the block am I carving next? You said carve everything away that's already green? That's right. So I need to remove the background on this because that's what I want to keep green, and everything else is going to stay. The next color I'm going to be printing is like the peachy color that I'm using on the face and the hands and the toes. And so what it's going to be kind of cool too. I don't know if it's going to show up. It probably won't. But in like traditional paintings, like Renaissance paintings, like the super uber realistic ones, to get like the skin tones and stuff correct, they would put green underneath. So I don't know if that's going to make it look better. It probably won't. You won't even see it probably underneath there, but maybe it will. Maybe it'll make it glow like a Renaissance painting. Probably not. It's probably just going to be a dumb little print. Anywho, I got to carve out all the background. All right, the next step is all carved out. I'm a little blurry. Yeah, it's all carved out. There we go. All in focus. And I've got a nice little peachy color on the brayer, ready to ink it up. And so let's go see what this and the green look like together. It's a little richer, a little redder than it seems to be showing up here for you. It's got a little bit more pink to it. It looks pretty white on the screen. But, all right, let's take a look. And just like last time, I'm gonna put the block. It's a little easier now that the edges don't have ink all over them. Put the block in place, make sure it's all snapped in. Yeah, it's pushed down real good. Top, eyes go to the top. And then put a piece of paper on the pins, flop it down, and run it through the press. And just like last time, let's take a peek. It looks pretty good. You can see why I didn't want to go too much darker with the green, because the green is showing through, which I enjoy. It shows like the history of the print and everything, and that's something that you can't really get with any other sort of printing technique. So the green is showing through a little bit. It looks good. I'm gonna run with it. The color looks good to me. I'm gonna keep printing, and I got about 50 of these to go through. Oh look, new glasses. Who's this? I just got back from Target from picking these up. They're different. We'll see. I still have to get used to them. I also need to shave, so we'll see. And the lighting in here is not great because it's like real hard on my face. Anywho, big fluorescent lighting up over my head. I am done printing all the Bigfoots. You're not here to see me though. Like I'm not. Done printing all the Bigfoots. I think they look pretty good. Well, they're not finished. I need to carve a little bit and then print the next color on top. But the fleshy color is all there. You can see the toenails shining through. It's all lining up pretty good. That's done. I pulled you over into my little corner over here because I wanted to show you the other project that I'm kind of working on simultaneously to these. And I'm going to be real lazy about it because I'm not going to do a screen capture. I'm just going to kind of show you. I'm working on doing an embroidery piece for a hat. And this is the program that I use to do that. It literally goes on and shows each individual thread, and it kind of gives it shows you what it's going to look like. I haven't really done the face. I'll go up to like the wings where I've kind of done everything where you can see all the different wings building out. So after I get the main file built, I can do an experiment and see if it is working in my favor. I'm doing some things that are kind of new to it too. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it, but yeah, this is what I'm working on. The next thing you'll see is me carving up this, and the next color that I need to carve out of it, you're right, the fleshy tone color. So I need to carve out all the areas of the face and then all the areas of the hands and feet, leaving his big furry body to print a brown on top of all that. All right, so now it's Thursday. I've got this piece all carved up for the brown layer, and I have a nice brown mixed up on my palette. It kind of looks like that. It's a mixture of 4 different colors. It's got ochre, cardinal red, and warm sepia, plus white in it. The white's just to make it a little bit lighter, make it last a little bit longer. I think it's pretty close to this. And that's what I've got so far. The colors seem pretty close. I think that this color, the flush color, is a little bit darker than this. So the brown is going to be a little bit darker than the brown here, hopefully. But I don't know how it's going to look until I put the first layer on. So I'm going to do the first layer, see if I like it. And if not, I will adjust from there. So I'm just going to do one test print. And just like the last couple times before this, I'm going to slip the block into its little spot. Still feels nice and tight and snug in there. And I'm going to take one sheet of paper, snap the pins in, flop it down, and send it through the press. All right, now let's take a peek. Oh, yes. That looks good. That looks good. That looks really good. And now to carve everything away for the key block. Man, do I wish that these were that easy to carve, because these are probably some of the most difficult little carvings that I do, because I want to put a lot of detail in these because I'm printing them so many times. But and it kind of goes against the way that I naturally carve. If you watched my videos of me carving, you've seen that I like to go on the inside and then work on the outside. And these ones, the outside's already carved away. So I have to make sure that I really maintain this line and that I don't mess that up. But this one is done, and it is about 10:30 at night. And I'm actually really super excited to see this printed onto the colors that I have already down, the 3 layers before. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to print these tonight, and I'm very excited to do so. We got the print on the left and the key block on the right. It's a little bit hard to see, but look, there it is. And I think they're still a little bit tacky, but I think I can print on top of it. But here we go. This is the last and final step. And for the 4th and final time, I slide the block into the little jig with the ink on it, and I take the paper, and I snap it into place. The pressure, I'm going to let the pressure up just slightly on this block, just so I don't lose detail. And I'm going to send it through the press. And the last time, let's take a peek. Hopefully I didn't mess this one up. All right, so here's the deal. It looks good. I'm happy with it. The brown ink isn't quite dry enough. I don't know if you can see how it's kind of showing through the black ink a little bit. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to clean up the ink I put down. I'm moving a little too fast. And I am going to, I'm just going to wait. But instead of printing tonight, I started working on this again. And I think I got pretty close to finish. I am probably like 10 hours into this file, but I think I've got it pretty good. It's really hard to like not zoom in and look at the stitches at this level, because because in all reality, that's probably bigger than it's going to print on the hat. I think this is done. I can do a test run of this tomorrow. This is a stitch editor program now that I'm in. It's a different program where I can kind of click and move the stitches around one by one, just depending on a couple things. But I think this is finalized, and I can give this a test tomorrow. Actually, see one other thing. Let's move this line just a little bit over here. All right. So this is I can show you this finished tomorrow too. Hopefully it prints pretty well. This is the biggest design that I've ever done on a hat. So I hope that it turns out good. All right, it is Friday morning now, and it does seem that these are dry now. So I can print the black layer on these this morning, and then I can show you the progress with the hat. But first things first, I want to print all these, and then I'll start working on those hats, because this was the #1 project this week, and I just want to get it done and over with in my rear view mirror. So let's one more time see how these look. Using all the same techniques that you've seen 4 times now, I've sent this one through the press with the ink on the block, and let's see what we got. Now that's a billion times better. I don't know if you can tell from this video, but the one on the left is the one I just printed, and the one on the right is the one I did last night on top of the wet ink. And the black just isn't as crisp. You can see the brown through the ink. And on this one, it's just very, very crisp and nice. Hopefully you can see it, but maybe you can't. Anywho, these are great, and I'm going to print the rest of the edition just like this right now. All right, so I've got my embroidery machine all set up. I've got a hat onto it. It clips in. It's simple but complicated. So I'm not gonna. This is just me as my artistic process. This isn't like how to embroider a hat, because most people don't have a machine like this. So this is my embroidery machine. The thread goes up here. It runs down this way. Goes down this way. There's needles about here, and then it embroiders it on the hat there. So what I've got to do now, I've got it all set up. The design is in the USB thing. It goes into the computer here, and I tell it which threads to use, and then I push this green button and it'll start. And there it goes. And now I'm embroidering. First time for this owl hat. Let's see how it turns out. It's really loud. All right, it's Sunday night now. I'm sitting down and I am about to edit this video together, and I'm realizing that I didn't film an outro because what happened on Friday, it was New Year's Eve, as you know, and I kind of got frustrated with the hat that I was making. It didn't turn out as I was expecting. I think I'm just asking a lot of embroidery. That's the hat. The lines weren't landing where I was wanting them to. And I'm just asking a lot of it. You know, this is about, 2 inches, maybe 2¼ inches tall by 2¼ inches wide. And I'm trying to get it to stitch, 40 feathers perfectly and outline that perfectly. And then, and all with, 1,400 stitches. That's a lot. So I've simplified the design a little bit, and it's looking a little bit better there, but it's still not doing exactly what I want it to do. So I've simplified it even more, and I'm trying it one more time. And if this doesn't work, then I'm at a loss with the design. I'm probably just going to scrap it, and all the work that I put into it is just going to go away. I thought I've had a handle on this machine, and I do have a handle on the machine. I think I really am just asking way too much of this, because embroidery is a bunch of pulling and tension, and there's things that are possible and other things that are not super possible. One last shot. I won't be recording the final thing because I'm going to edit this as it's working. It's got 23 minutes left, it says on the screen there, of embroidering, and I'm just going to edit while this is going. Thanks for watching. I did finish one project this week, the Bigfoot project. Hopefully you enjoyed that. That is finished, and that came out perfect. I know what I'm doing in the relief carving and relief printing world. This is new to me. So thank you for watching. The Bigfoots came out great. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next week. Thanks. Bye. I'm going to try to get this out tonight. It's probably not going to happen, though, so you're probably watching this on Tuesday or Wednesday. So sorry. I'll try to be more regular in the future, but all right. I'm going to stop talking. See y'all later. Bye.